What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Passion Project. I'm your girl, Juanita Michelle. I know I say that every single week, but let me be more specific today. I am a personal mastery lifestyle coach, and I also blog or vlog free content that anyone can use for a better life. And particularly if you want to experience passion like never before or for the first time, I am speaking to you. All right, so today I want to talk about the pandemic. In the very beginning, I didn't want to talk about it, and I avoided writing about it. I avoided, putting too much emphasis on it because at that time, I think we were all in a place where we were still trying to find the lesson in it. When things happen, when tragedy strikes, or things aren't going the way we expect them to go, or we want them to go. Our initial reaction is to, be upset. And then we try and find our way through, and we're resilient, and we push through, and we survive, right? And now, hindsight is 2020, right? So now, at the end of the road, well, not the end, but the end of the initial period of doom and shock, I can say that this pandemic has taught me, and I am certain that it has taught you, a bunch of valuable lessons. So today we're going to talk about 9 things that we take for granted that the pandemic of 2020 has taught us to appreciate. All right, so if this is your first time watching this channel, I'm gonna ask you right now if you could please do me the favor and yourself, because this channel really is not for me, this channel is for you, and subscribe as well as click the notification bell. If you're not familiar with the way YouTube works, subscriptions and likes are kind of like our report card as content creators. So the more subscriptions and the more likes we have, and even comments, so like reactions, really determine how well our channel does with the algorithm. So moving on, number 1, freedom of movement. Now, I am not really the type of person that's always on the go. I am really a homebody. I stay home a lot. I really like being at home. But I do travel a lot. So I think the first shock for me was, I remember in March or in February, I started making plans for a very important trip, a really big trip in March. I didn't book a ticket, but I was preparing myself to take this trip. And when all of this started happening, and I noticed that in countries other than ours, and the one where I was going, they were having quarantines for people coming in. I was like, well, I don't necessarily want to be quarantined anywhere. Like, when I thought about the scenario, it didn't make sense because I wouldn't be able to do what I was going to do anyway. So I didn't book a ticket. And then about 2 weeks after, I started looking into it, the BVI was closed. So that was like, it was like uncomfortable for me because I am one of those people who I enjoy freedom of movement. Like, my passport is my most prized possession, like one of my most prized possessions. Like, I have 2, and they are both always up to date. There's never a period where I can't travel. So that was crazy for me, 1. And then 2, I said, okay, well, I'm not in this alone. Nobody could go anywhere. Nobody could come. So it's like, this is all of our fight, right? So then when they locked us down and we couldn't go anywhere, I was like, this is interesting, because even though I stay at home a lot, I still felt like I was being imprisoned. It felt like somebody was holding me against my will. I felt like I was being held hostage. What it is the choice. I had a choice, and then my choice was taken away. And I definitely took it for granted that I had the choice to get in my car and go wherever I had to go, even if it was to the trash, okay? Which brings me to number 2, garbage runs. I mean, you guys remember when they first locked us down? They said you can't go anywhere. It's kind of blurry to me, the timelines, like from when we had curfew to when it was 24 hours to when it wasn't 24 hours anymore. It's a blur for me, so forgive me if I'm mixing up the timelines. But when they said that, I was like, the government said we can't do what? We can't carry out our trash. No. That ain't gonna work. That is not gonna work for me. My garbage don't keep very well. For some reason, after like a day or a day and a half, I have to take out my trash, whether it's full or not. I don't know if it's just my nose that's sensitive. I don't know if I just cook too much or I have too much animal products in the garbage. I don't know what it is. I can't keep garbage in the house. I was like, what am I gonna do? I was actually one of those people that was like, listen, I carrying out my trash. What do you mean? Then the alternative is to leave it outside on the porch, and then it's like, I don't have one of those garbage bins that closes. I have the garbage that goes in and out of the drawer, so there's no top. So then it was like a whole dilemma, and you know, push comes to shove, you know, the garbage ended up being taken out, and then they started doing the curbside pickup, so that, you know, fixed itself. But that just made me see how you could take something that simple for granted, like the ability to take out your trash, something that most people don't even want to do, right? Okay, so that takes me to number 3, recreation. Eating out, going to the park, going to the beach. I mean, they took away the beach. Took away the beach. I'm not even a big beach person, but just the mere fact that you couldn't just step out and all of the beaches were empty on an island, a tropical island, was kind of crazy to me. And I think it's like something that we all had a very hard time wrapping our brains around. But just think about when there was no pandemic, right? When there was none of this and we just had free access to the beach. How often did you go? And when you went, did you really appreciate it? I bet now you know how those people who live in areas where there is no beach feel. Like they can't wait to travel so they could get to the beach, right? People who live in climates that are not outside friendly. You probably have an idea now what that is like, and now you feel like, yo, I took that privilege for granted. Which brings me to number 4. Outside. It sounds so simple, but just the ability to go outside. People started making jokes about, you know, when they open up outside or when they let us back outside again, we would do XYZ. But how quickly and how easily we forget what it was like when we couldn't go outside, right? And we complain about the curfew hours. Granted, I personally feel like we are delaying the inevitable at this point, you know, that we need to just open up the country and adjust ourselves and, you know, create standards for each industry and allow them to function in different ways. That's my personal opinion. But I still feel like instead of complaining about a curfew, that this is an opportunity for us to take the time and say, yo, 24/7 access to the outside is a blessing. Some people are in prison. They probably are locked down inside for maybe 20 hours a day or more. Some people are in hospital. They can't go outside. Some people are in nursing homes, you know. You take it for granted that you can step outside. I take it for granted that I can step outside. You know, these are some of the simple things that are blessings that we don't see as such, but are. So that's number 4. Number 5, bread. Sticking with the theme of the lockdown. I never realized how much bread I eat until they told us that we couldn't go out for 14 days. Like I say, it's all a blur for me right now, so I don't really remember the time frames. But it was a period where all of us were shopping to go right back home. And nobody could find bread. And I who don't bake, I am not a baker. I cook and I bake like chicken, like fish, food. But I'm not gonna bake a cake. Unless it's a box cake. I'm not gonna bake tart. I'm not gonna bake bread. That's not my thing, that's my sister. And if you see me, I was looking for yeast. Like, so much people were up and down looking for yeast because we couldn't find bread. When I go to the supermarket now and I see bread, I have a whole new appreciation for it. Because when we couldn't get it, I felt a void. I actually ended up getting the dough from Crandall's. And I also got some coconut bread because they were making bread at the time. So that's what held me over. Yeah, bread. We definitely take bread for granted. That's 5. Number 6. Touch. No, I am not a touchy-feely person. I'm just talking about general touch, like hugs and handshakes and, you know, that type of touch. I'm not talking about sex. That's a different subject altogether. But I'm just talking about the ability to reach out and touch someone. When you see people in public, you can't even shake their hand. You can't hug people. You gotta get them these elbow daps or air high fives or like air hugs. If I had to count, I probably received 5 or 6 hugs in 2020 all together. That's sad. That's sad. I'm not touchy-feely, I promise you. I'm not the kind of person that's gonna hold your hand. I'm not out here hugging everybody. I hug people I'm really close to. But I'm missing it. It feels so weird to be human and not be able to have touch. Touch is a very important part of human interaction. It's a love language. If you've ever taken the love language quiz, you know that physical touch is one of the 5 languages. Granted, it's probably number 4 on my list, but at the same time, everybody needs it. I know right now you're missing touch. And if you ain't missing it, well, I don't know, there's a hole. There's a hole in your heart. Number 7, let's see. Oh, togetherness. There's so many people I can't wait to see again. There are 2 sides to this. Like, there are the people who are local, who I would probably see every other week, once a month. We would hang out maybe. Nothing major, you know, you just see them and you kick it, you kiki kaka, and then, you know, you go back in your corner and, you know, things back to normal. But just the ability to be with people. I mean, the pandemic caused me to not be able to see people, or, you know, go and see them, or them come and see me as I would like. But then now I have on top of that car trouble, so it's like twofold. Like, I literally can't drive to Bunaway. And it was worse when the curfew was at 1, because it's like, even if you get somebody to take you, how you gonna get back? You know what I mean? So it's just like all these limitations on our movement is affecting our ability to be together. And I haven't missed my friends and my family members the way I miss. There's some people, like, I didn't know it's possible for me to miss them this much, right? And then the other side of that is the people who are away, who are not in the same place as you, but then even though you might not see them every day, you still feel like, okay, I could go. I can catch a plane or a boat and go see them. But no, you can't just catch a boat or just catch a plane to go see anybody. You know what I mean? All these requirements that you have to meet, and I will never take that for granted again. And if I do, God forgive me. Yeah. All right. And fresh air. Like I said earlier, I don't really go out that much. I work from home as well, so I really don't need to. But I appreciate the ability to breathe in and breathe out. I appreciate the fresh air that we have here. We don't have that anymore. As fresh as the air is outside, the minute you step outside and you go to be amongst people, you have to have on a mask. I'm not opposed to wearing a mask. I'm not one of those people who are against the mask wearing, but I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I think today was the first time I've been outside for a long time because I wasn't driving my personal vehicle. And I wore a mask from about 9 a.m. till maybe 12. 3 hours wearing a mask. I was just like, oh. Like at one point I felt my breaths getting shallow. And I just was like, let me take the mask off on one side and just take some deep breaths. And then, as I was doing that, it just made me think of, the way we take our breath for granted. I mentioned this in a video maybe 2 weeks ago. Breath is life. That's the distinction between life and death. And once you have breath, you have life. And not just that, but if you are intentional about your breathing, you can regulate so many things. Like you can regulate your emotions, you regulate your heart rate, your mood. Breathing deeply and intentionally is a very important self-care tool that we don't use enough. And I say we because I am guilty as well. So if you've reached this far in the video, congratulations, you've made it to point number 8. And in addition to making it to point number 8, I want to submit to you that we need to focus more on our breaths. When you're at home, focus on your breath. There's nothing we can do right now about having to wear masks in public. So the times where you're allowed to wear no mask and be free, appreciate it and utilize it. And bonus number 9, this one is funny. This one is a funny one. But number 9 is school. School, like I never did like school. I know why over there saying I lie. Girl, you lie. I know I over there saying I lie. Yeah, because it would appear like I really love school, right? With my 3 degrees and all my accolades and so on and so forth. But I have accolades and I have a degree. And I have degrees because I'm intelligent. And because of the society that I grew up in and the opportunities that were afforded to me that I just decided that I would use. Because why not, right? But I didn't like school from high school days. I did not like school. It's so funny when people, hear me talking about future plans and they're like, oh, you gonna go back to school? I'm like, school? I have a good friend. I wouldn't name her. She would know if she's watching. Always encouraging me to go get my doctorate because, once you live in this life, you're not gonna want to go back. And I'm like, yep, I ain't going back. You damn right. I don't want to go back. But I just can't imagine being a 4-year-old or 3-year-old. My first day at school or kindergarten and it's with a computer. I can't imagine, let's say this was 13 years ago, my first year at Morgan State. First college, university, because I went to HLS first. And I can't go to orientation. I can't live in the dorms. Like we can't even go to class on campus. Like that must suck. Like I feel so bad for them. Imagine I was already there and it's graduation time and I can't even have a graduation ceremony. Like that's the worst. Like I know it's not the worst thing that could ever happen, but it just made me appreciate having the school experience, like being able to be there in person so much. Like I appreciate it so much more now. When I see these young kids, like my brother or his wife would send us pictures or videos of their kids. They're 3, the small ones, they're 3 and 5, in front of these laptops. And I'm like, this ain't right. I don't like it. No. They're supposed to be in a classroom with their peers. They're supposed to be at recess playing. Like, damn this pandemic, yo. This is wild. And then, like, especially the children in the BVI who went through Irma and Maria, and now they have to go through this. This is a lot. Man, I know some of y'all can't stand school just like me, but I bet you wish you were in school now. I bet you wish. Even y'all teachers who does get migraines with these disagreeable children, I bet y'all wish y'all were in front of them classrooms right now. But shout out to y'all for making it work, doing the do, and staying strong and sticking with it. Shout out to the parents making it work, finding resources to even have these online classes like that. This stuff can't be easy. So much respect and enough props to you. And that is the end of my list. If you have more things that you want to add to the list, please feel free to do so. Drop a comment below. This was fun to do. This was really fun to do. The pandemic has been bad. It has been bad, but it has been good. We've learned a lot. If you haven't learned anything in 2020, you sleep. You fast asleep. You need to wake up. All right, so this is your first time again. Let me remind you, you may not have been familiar with my content, but if you've made it this far, now you are. If you like what you've seen, click like, subscribe, support, and watch. It's always good content, I promise. See you guys next week. I love you for watching and following my journey on YouTube. There's much more to come, and I will be back next Thursday with another dose of pure passion. Bye now.